Good morning, Mr. Mamdani. Just wondering, do you have any response to those who have been labeling you a communist in recent days? Do you plan on walking back any statements when you meet with Leader Jeffries, like seizing the means of production? Thank you.
He's seizing the means of the Democratic Party. New York City's socialist candidate for mayor Zohran Mamdani dodging questions as he finally gets a meeting with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Still no endorsement, but they will meet again. It just underscores the Democrats' identity crisis as they face a rock-bottom 19% approval rating. Should the party embrace Zohran's hot socialist summer of rent freezes, free buses, city-run grocery stores, defunding the cops, and tossing cash bail in the trash? Or do they pump the brakes and at least pretend to be the party of moderation? Every other day, another video reemerges of Zohran's radical past, including this insanity about abolishing private property. Watch.
The system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused, right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that people try and play like gotcha games about these kinds of things. And it's like, look, I care more about whether somebody has a home.
But Dems are already warming up to those radical policies. Liz Warren is giving her stamp of approval to government-run grocery stores.
It's a new and fresh plan for New York City, but it's been tried in other cities around the country and has had some real successes. So what I hear Mamdani saying is, I want to try things to make it work for working families. And you know what? This is how democracy works. A lot of people in New York City said, that sounds good to me. I'd rather try that than any of the other alternatives available to me. I support that.
Good luck with that, comrade. History is pretty clear. Socialist policies turn thriving countries into breadline bonanzas. And yet, Tim Walz is stumped by why Democrats are seen as anti-success.
It's capturing this idea of wealth and being able to be successful, which we as Democrats, we want people to pay their fair share, but why are we against people being successful like that? We can't be. Why are we against? We should talk about businesses. Not all businesses exploit their workers, and we get ourselves stuck in that.
Oh, well,
and
Governor,
I think we lose that.
Jessica, I want to start with you as a Democrat here in the city. How do you weigh all of these proposals by Mamdani that are clearly untenable and unsustainable with the fact that it would drive out anyone here that could flee, leaving behind the poor, the criminals, and the rats only? And how is this shaping the direction of the Democrat Party in New York City, which is the home of the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, from someone that is clearly an anti-Semite to boot?
Okay.
What? Why are you laughing?
Because there was like 95 questions.
Just a two-parter. A two-parter. Okay. So I am not a Mamdani person. I've made that perfectly clear. I think this is such a stain on the Cuomo and Adams campaigns that they did no opposition research whatsoever, that these things are being unearthed now, and none of it is hidden, right? These are old tweets, these are old interviews, et cetera. I don't know if the outcome would have been different. He won by an enormous amount. I think the opposition was obviously flawed as well, putting Cuomo up. But to say that these policies are going to drive out anyone who's not poor or criminal just isn't true. His policies are basically Bill de Blasio's policies, and people stayed here. Rich people stayed here. We lost folks during COVID for sure, but we have seen this before, like de Blasio froze the rent as well. So I think we have to move away from that kind of talk. Elizabeth Warren, when you say, everyone's falling in line, Elizabeth Warren is a far left progressive, but she is right that these stores have been tried before, that in places like Kansas and Florida, which are both right-leaning. So I think we need to drop that. As for the endorsements, Hochul, Jeffries, Richie Torres, they're doing what I think they should be doing, which is expressing in these conversations with him the concerns that their constituents have. And maybe they get to the point where they endorse, or maybe they don't, but they should be talking to him, and they should continue to say things like you brought up. We have a big Jewish population in our district. globalize the Intifada means something very specific to them. And he's already backtracked off of that. But these policies are going to hurt small businesses. This is what I'm worried about. And we move from there. But this is an ideology. This is people who fight and people who capitulate. And the people who fight are the ones that are going to win these primaries. And that's why he managed this.
But that's the thing, Greg. So for all of us who live here, or ordinary New Yorkers, if this feels like ideology, but the whole point is if it is actually implemented, abolish prisons, abolish cash bail, abolish medical bills, end all cooperation with ICE, rent freeze, abolish private health insurance. Like, there is such a long line of absolutely untenable things. So how is this in any way reflective of ordinary New Yorkers that are frightened for the state of the city, especially on the streets?
It's not untenable. It's happening. We have all those things you mentioned are happening. They are tenable. That's the funny thing. We can't pretend like this guy is out of the ordinary. He actually represents the party, the modern woke party, anti-law enforcement, anti-capitalist, pro-trans, pro-illegal, pro-criminal. He's not the radical past. He's the radical present. If the party feels differently about that, as Jessica says, then they really, really gotta talk louder about it, because that's the problem. You guys didn't speak up. You know, you grew this monster because you were too scared to discipline it as it expanded into every facet of our lives. Imagine if you had nipped wokeism in the bud rather than waiting for us to slay it with Trump. The Democratic Party are like parents of a criminal teen who raised him without any discipline or common sense, and then you released him into the wild, i.e. our world, and now we have to deal with it, and now you're going like, now, I predict that when he gets the nomination, they're gonna fall behind him. They will. They'll say, oh, he's changed, he's changed. I want to talk about Tim Walz because that guy is such a... All right, I'll say douchebag. Number one, if you don't understand success, then nothing is fair. And so when he says, I don't understand why the Dems are seen as anti-successful, when what we want is everybody to pay their fair share. Well, get this. The idea of fair share is such an undefinable term that you can apply it to anybody who is successful, even if they've already paid their fair share. Success to you isn't fair. You have the top 1% pays all of 40% of all federal taxes. The top 5% pays 61% of all Fed taxes, more than the bottom 90% combined. So what if we did pay the objectively fair share? That it would be a fraction of that. Because when you read that data, you realize that ain't fair. That ain't fair. So their idea of fair is punitive. It's driven by envy. All of these policies are driven by envy. It's not necessarily that I want what you have. I just don't want you to have it.
Right. And isn't this all coming from such a hypocritical position? All of these guys in DC. Liz Warren, she's not walking the streets here. I mean, Zohran himself lives in a $3 million Chelsea condo. Right? It's positions of luxury that they can talk about imposing this on New York City.
Have you ever hosted Thanksgiving dinner?
Once.
You know how it's all about the sides? And you make a lot of sides, and sometimes you screw the sides up, but you can hide the sides. Or sometimes people bring sides that are so disgusting you don't even put them out to serve. You can't do that with the turkey. The turkey's the main course. And when you burn the turkey, the whole house smokes up and you serve it, it's dry, and everybody knows the turkey stinks. Mamdani is the main course. Besides the President of the United States, New York City mayor is the most powerful executive political position in the country. There's no hiding Mamdani. This guy's going to be covered by the Post, the Daily News, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, every single day. And not only that, he's going to be lighting the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. First Muslim. Wow, that's exciting. He's going to be doing the countdown on New Year's Eve in Times Square. He's going to be standing next to Donald Trump at the 9/11 ceremony. There is no hiding this guy. This guy is in the middle of the Democrats' plate, and there's nowhere for them to run, and there's nowhere for them to hide. Abolishing private property, price controls, chanting slogans that Hamas chants. You guys, Greg's right. This guy is the same guy all Democrats are behind closed doors. After a few drinks, they all say the same thing this commie says. And they love him because he's authentic, because he's dumb or brave enough to say what they're all thinking behind closed doors.